Yeah, I'm over here in Texas, so I was a little off on my time. I keep forgetting that I'm 2 hours or 1 hour, some form of an hour off in some way or fashion. So um, it's been crazy.
Hey, no worries. I completely understand. What I'll do, I'll keep it kind of short for you today, so you don't have to worry about it. And we'll just hop right in if that's cool.
Oh yeah. Sounds fun. Let's have some fun.
All right. So you got the movie Dark Moon Rising coming out obviously this year. Come out, hasn't it?
It's come out overseas. It's coming out August 4th to iTunes, Vudu, and then September Redbox and Netflix.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the movie?
Yes, so Dark Moon Rising is essentially the beginning stages of a franchise that follows the story of Dawn, who's played by Anastasia Antonio. And she essentially wakes up after ravaging the woods and kind of destroying this forest, and she can't control her rage. And she's spending her time throughout the film pretty much discovering who she is and where she gets these powers from. And the entire time, there's this alpha pack of werewolves in search for her, and they've been chasing her across continents. And so we kind of pick the story up midway into where she comes into this small town and settles in, and she finds another one like her. And she kind of bonds with him. And at its core, the Dark Moon Rising is just supposed to pretty much introduce us to the world that, we're trying to create. And so it was very fun and interesting because, the movie plays off a lot of familiarity with the werewolf folklore, but we're also taking a lot of liberty to introduce and infuse new ideas into it. And so at its base, we wanted our werewolves to pretty much come from different tribes across, the world, and each tribe had its own inherited trait for survival.
Okay.
And so, if they lived in Africa, they had a lot of heat resistance, for example, or they had the ability to formulate or work with fire, if you will, things like this. And so, we wanted to do that as a way to infuse just a little bit of a different, unique spin into how we and our werewolves interact. And it helps us to really set the pace for the franchise as we go forward, because essentially these are the best and the last of their species. So the werewolves are trying to survive and maintain a level of relevance by capturing her, even though at the moment we don't know why. So that is the setup of the film. And that's pretty much the story that we're going through and trying to figure out the ins and outs of all the characters involved.
Gotcha, okay. And then who all stars in the movie?
Well, we have Billy Blanks playing Sheriff Tom. We have Eric Roberts playing Henrik, who's the werewolf hunter, kind of the old head who knows a lot about the history. There's always a guy that can help us give a lot of exposition and help explain a lot of things that, since this is the beginning part of the franchise, it kind of helps allude the audience into what we're doing and kind of guides us into, where the setup is and the backstory, where it all begins. So we have those two as our main guys in the film, and it's exciting to have worked with both, and definitely working with Eric, who's just phenomenal in this movie and everything he does. So those are the people we have starring in it.
Okay, and who did the makeup and the special effects for you?
Oh, wow. The makeup was done by Nisa Nightmare, Heather Deanne, and Eric Alamea, and we kind of split out the duties. We wanted some practical, and we also wanted people who were good at making animatronics or good with trying to make something that would infuse with the characters so that they can walk in and keep their wardrobe and still maintain this level of werewolf animalistic features. And so it was that, and also we worked with a company out of Germany called Dark Vortex for VFX. And these guys have been working with us since The Cloth, my first feature film.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're very good at what they do, especially for the turnaround times that we have, and the amount of work that goes into just trying to put a visual effects werewolf in a scene and have them interact with people. It's getting into the level of absurdity budget-wise. So it's always great to work with a company like that and to have that capability when we're making films, to pretty much lean on them and their expertise. And so it was a challenge, and it was great to be able to have all of those guys kind of come together and give us this collage that we have.
Awesome. Well, now, just to be certain, now I know in 2009 there was another werewolf movie called Dark Moon Rising, and I just want to make sure these are two completely different movies. Is that correct?
Yes, they are. The original title was Lay Wolf, but, you know, I think what happened was when you start getting creative, you kind of forget that, you know, there's an idea that you don't want your story to get lost in the fray, because someone may pick up a title and not understand what it's about, or it just may give off the wrong appeal. And so, you know, we come to the conclusion that it would be best to change the title to kind of induce the idea that this is a werewolf film, that, you know, this is the type of film that you're going to get, and et cetera, to really help with that. So the 2009 version of the film, oddly enough, I know one of the actors from the film, and he gave me a call. He was like, "You guys made our movie again." I said, "No, we didn't make the movie again." But it's you know, hopefully that everyone can enjoy both films. But the one that's comes out 2015. And I think that once August 4th hits and there's a response and audiences really hopefully enjoy what we were able to put together, especially with part 2 and 3 coming out, then, you know, they'll be able to really understand the differences between them and you know, like the story and go from there, because sometimes they're films named after each other and they're completely different stories or different takes.
Right.
So it's a challenge, and it's actually an interesting one at that. The Dark Moon Rising 2009 movie has jumped a lot on YouTube.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
There was a page reference on, I think, Movie Pilot or one of the sites on Facebook. They were like, "Hey, this movie's coming out. I heard about it." And then they posted up this one, the 2009 version. And so, I mean, it's just interesting to see. I'm all for everyone getting a lot of positive energy, because God has blessed us so much. So if it helps another artist, then, hey, you know, that's all good.
All right, absolutely. Well, do you have any other movies that you're going to be working on besides the, you know, the sequels to this one, or?
Oh, yes. As soon as August 4th hits and we see the response to this, it will let us know with our distributor Uncorked. We kind of work hand in hand to ensure that we're providing the kind of entertainment that, you know, that people are wanting. So as soon as we get the response back and you know, in September, and when it's in Redbox and Netflix, we kind of get an idea for how well the movie performed. And from there, then we start working on part 2 and 3 in the sense of going with what worked best in part 1 and what they would like to see more of. And, you know, now that we got the storytelling out the way, maybe more action or you know, maybe more of a romantic side to the story. But we're working on, and we just completed a possession film called Forsaken, which is about a priest whose wife, she is deathly ill, and he wants to save her life, so he decides to turn his back on God and possess her. And pretty much the antic that ensue with that decision, you know, all the things that go along with that, turning back on God and how he's inviting in the evilness into his life, and that won't turn out to be a good decision. And so we have that film coming out. Hopefully we can get that out by Halloween. I mean, we turned it around this year, and we're working on a TV show for Hulu called Flesh to Ashes. It's about zombies fighting for equal rights, you know, trying to be normal people.
Okay.
And we also have, I mean, so many, what else is we're working on? We're also working on another film, another action film, I believe, and another love romantic film called Dark Cupid, Snare. I mean, we just have so much in the fray, and we're excited to be able to continue to, you know, produce high-quality films. And then, obviously, there's I almost forgot, that's how lucid Texas has me right now. It's so hot. It's 101 inside the house. It's not even outside the house. It's inside,
no.
So.
Oh Lord, no.
But I had an offer, and I usually am very superstitious, so I don't want to get too crazy, but have an offer from a studio to direct a studio tentpole project for 2018.
Wow.
And it's a big project. And so far, everything at this point in time is bells and whistles in the sense of this is what the project is. This is the stuff you can't talk about, so I probably shouldn't be talking about it. Here goes here goes previs and character development and people you need to call that you never knew your name, and you're excited to actually contact these people. I didn't even know that there were such things as character research developers as a job. I didn't know that guy had a yeah. I didn't know that he was an actual division. Like I call and he tells me all the stuff he has done. I'm like, wow, I see this could have been useful.
Right.
In Dark Moon Rising. For you to give me this type of information.
Well, hey, for anybody that's looking to kind of break into, producing or directing, specifically in the horror genre, because, it is a bit of a different animal, what advice would you give to somebody who's, just starting out?
Well, I think that, I say this a lot, and you hear a lot of things, and it's very cliche, but I believe that everything that you hear, whether it's put God first, whether it's believe in yourself, whether it's really understand that you have all of the infinite knowledge available to you, and it's just about being able to execute that and get out of your own way in order to ensure that you are successful, because success isn't bred through delivering a film or validated by having a film release. Success is actually being able to articulate your dream and then go forward in every sense of that word. But I believe that is where my advice usually goes whenever I talk to fellow authors or filmmakers, if they actually need my advice. I always tell them it begins with you, and it begins with a clear vision. And I know that sounds, because I hear it. I hear people say things like, oh, all right, I could Google that, or it sounds like a quote on the refrigerator. But it's if you really break it down, there's everything you need in there. Like there's no blueprint that's necessary in the sense of, write a script, or it has to be 30 minutes, or go pitch it to a star, or go find funding, or if you Kickstarter, you can do this. All those things are just means to pretty much get you to the overall gist of believe in yourself and clearly articulate what it is that you're trying to discover and execute. I mean, if I had to be as frank as possible, when we did the Possession film, we knew what we were doing, and in the sense of what we wanted to provide to the audience. The goal was to scare everyone every 30 seconds, every 2 minutes. So,
right.
There's no point in having a film where there's an hour and 20 minutes of dialogue about what would happen if she was possessed, and then we possess her in the last 5 minutes. So, and then her eyes turn white or something like that. So it was pretty much, hey, we want to execute the film where, people, for this type of particular project, we wanted people to say, you know what, I just want to be scared. I'm not here to get an Oscar. I'm not here to see the greatest, performance, story or written script to the point to where I'm clamoring for the lead actress to be, receive an Emmy or something. I just want to get a film, share it with my family, and literally be afraid. And I want to share it with my kids and scare them. I want to scare people on Halloween. We want to have fun. And right. Sometimes that seems very simple, but people get in their own way and they can't decide on how to do that film because they're more concerned with the angle of how the angles would look, or how would Christopher Nolan do this film, or how would, certain other authors have done the film. How would they do it? And, you get lost in that fray. Trying to execute that way. And so that would be what I would say to people trying to make a headway in this industry.
Awesome. All right, perfect. Well, that's all I got for you, Justin. As soon as we get it edited and as soon as it's up, I can definitely get it sent over to you. Do we happen to have your email address, or?
Clint Morris maybe has information. I don't have your email address, okay. So I believe Clint may be the one that has everything.
All right, yeah, I'll have my editor go ahead and send it off to him, and like I said, as soon as it's done, we'll go ahead and post it and get that link over to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know that, you have so much going on, and I just appreciate it. I really do.
Hey, no problem. We're excited to do it, and we hope that it's well received, and we'll see what what we can do from here.
Awesome.
All right.
God bless. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Take care.